Hi, I'm Brittany B, the RD. This week, I'm going to be talking about a topic that I frequently get asked about, and that's cannabis. Since cannabis is just kind of increasingly becoming a topic that is discussed in the IBD community, I really wanted to talk about the scientific research out there right now on cannabis use in inflammatory disease patients, and also my own personal thoughts about it. So our current research in cannabis and IBD shows that it does not affect inflammation, and so therefore it does not cure IBD. So far, there's only been 4 research studies conducted on cannabis in IBD, and they've actually all been conducted in Israel. We've had some studies in the US that ask participants whether they are taking or using cannabis, but the research studies that I'm talking about today are going to be more about like the placebo versus cannabis. And in those studies, the cannabis was taken either orally or inhaling it through a cigarette or vaping. And all of the research studies were really small. The largest study only had 30 participants. And also, out of all 4 of those studies, there was only 2 ulcerative colitis patients that participated. The rest were in Crohn's disease patients. So I think that's important to note. Participants noted an improvement in their symptoms, but it wasn't a significant improvement across all 4 studies. When talking about my own personal thoughts about cannabis in IBD, my first thought about cannabis is that it somewhat acts as a band-aid for stress management. And I say that because instead of building up stress resilience like you would with a stress management activity like meditation, you're medicating yourself to get into that rest and digest state. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, but when people mention that cannabis cured their IBD, to me that means that they probably were struggling with a lot of stress and anxiety, and cannabis helped them get into that rest and digest system and out of that fight or flight system. So if instead of using cannabis, they used a stress management activity like meditation, my guess is that they would have similar, if not better, results using the stress management activity, only because then you're gaining the stress resilience. But another thought is that maybe cannabis would be a great addition to the anxiety treatment plan if, like, let's say stress management activities just aren't cutting it. For instance, I have a lot of clients who have generalized anxiety disorders, and some of them, those who choose to do meditation, tend to see a lot greater results than some other stress management activities. But, you know, maybe along with the stress management activity, if they used cannabis, that would just help them get out of that stressed state and into the rest and digest state. In some individuals, cannabis may help to reduce pain. And if the option is to go on narcotics or go on, cannabis, I would recommend cannabis for my clients every single time. Pain definitely reduces the quality of life, and so if cannabis can reduce your pain, then that's something to think about. And the last point I want to make about cannabis is that if you're struggling to maintain weight, maybe you're in a flare and you don't have much of an appetite, then potentially, maybe cannabis could boost your appetite. I'm not too sure about that, but that's a possibility. And if that's the case, then that would also be another use for cannabis in inflammatory disease patients. So I can't wait to hear your thoughts about cannabis use in inflammatory disease patients. So let me know your thoughts in the comment box below. I'll see you guys next time. Bye!